Well, thank you so much for staying with us. Now, I talked about export regulation earlier before we took the break. I think about 2-3 years from now, NAFDAC raised the alarm about the fact that certain products from Nigeria, yams, and a number of others like that, including, I think it also includes beans, so when they export them to certain parts of the world, the destination of those products complain, destination countries complain, and some of those products are sent back to the nation. The complaint, okay, it has too much pesticides, some chemicals are too much, and all those things. Perhaps that's part of the reason that NAFTA came up with export regulations following its decision to solve the perennial state of international rejection of Nigerian exports by fully automating the export licensing of regulated products. Now, the draft says that regulations shall apply to regulated products like food, drug, cosmetic products, medical devices, packaged water, and chemicals for exports and other things like that. And it also talks about regulating the stakeholders in the business of exportation of the agency's regulated products. Of these issues, there are groups that have some misgivings, especially farmers. This morning, Mr. Felix Oladunjoye joins us for a conversation. Otumba Oladunjoye, Felix Oladunjoye joins us this morning. He's a council member, Nigerian Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture. He's also chairman of Cocoa Processors Association of Nigeria. Thank you for your time this morning.
It's a pleasure having me.
For those who don't understand what the issues are, please give us an update. What exactly are the issues for you?
Thank you very much. I'm a Nigerian, and I've been an operator in this export market for over 25 years, working in the multinational, engaging farmers and others. Now, we need to define what food and semi-processed products are. You mentioned yam, rice, beans, all those things. Those are direct food that people consume. Now, we need to define product commodities that are not food, that are still subject to further manufacturing. We need to define that. In as much as I agree that NAFDAC have the responsibility to regulate food and drugs, especially being consumed in Nigeria and for export. But in our own case, cocoa processing, we deal in a commodity that is raw. It's an industrial product that you need to process, add value, package, meet international standard. It's an internationally traded commodities, just like all the other commodities. So we have international regulation. For you to access export market, there are conditions as a manufacturer, as an exporter, that you must meet for your product to access international market. You must have an ISO certified laboratory. Majority of our members, factories are equipped with internationally certified laboratory. In fact, you cannot engage in export product, especially cocoa and sesame, all those things, without having an ISO certified lab. Those are located at the factories. What we are saying is that NAFDAC should not add to the current problem of the multi-agency in the Nigeria seaport and airport. That is not where the NAFDAC should extend their regulation to. If they want to regulate, go to various factory warehouses where they package this export product. Inspect their facility. satisfy it that is in, but in a situation where NAFDAC is now proposing another law to set up another toll gate at the seaport, bringing more hurdles to free trade and compounding the problem of delay, contract default. That is what our association is crying to the government. Now, we are talking of inadequacy of foreign exchange. As far as Nigeria is concerned, we are now the sixth producer of cocoa in the world. We used to be second. Now, because of policy, somersault, and inconsistency, Nigeria has been relegated to the background. We are, you know, these are issues.
Just to quickly talk about the issue that you... So the problem is not that NAFDAC cannot regulate. The problem is where. That's the issue you're raising.
Yes. Now, let me tell you, what NAFDAC, they are multi-agency doing the same job. What NAFDAC is proposing to regulate is being handled. We have Nigeria Export Promotion Council, who issue license to exporters. We have Federal Ministry of Quarantine, who issue phytosanitary and health certificate. We have Neroli agencies, who the government employ to inspect export, to issue clean report of inspection. All these things the exporter paid. Not only that, each exporter is to pay 0.5% of the FOB values as export supervision fee. Now that is coming again.
To whom is that last one paid?
The 0.5%. We pay through to the banks. It's go to the federation account. So, on average, a ton of cocoa go for between 2 to 3.5 million. Depends if it is processed or not processed. So we are saddled with multiple taxation. If now that is now coming to add more problem to it at the seaport, that is what we are crying for. Nigeria will lose their esteem in international market, and there will be more problem in the foreign exchange market.
Part of the responsibility, it is part of, and you agree that it's part of the responsibility of NAFDAC to ensure that whatever is going out of the country is regulated, isn't it? Because from what you have said now, if we have, like you mentioned, 3 or 4 agencies of government that are supposed to be doing one thing or the other.
Yes.
Yet, we still have a situation where products that are exported out of the country are substandard and people are complaining.
The products that are substandard, they are not industrial goods. Let's get it clear. When you talk of yam, I mean, farmer plant yam, harvest it, yam is vulnerable. Beans, those are direct food.
But
do you get what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I find it a little interesting because there are those who have pointed to Ghana exporting yams, and we don't have the kind of reports that we have about Nigeria exporting yams. Is that to say that Nigeria's yam is not good?
No, what you are saying, their existing agency, what we should put our torchlight is to audit those agencies that are currently saddled with the responsibility of certify those quality, and still we still get it. So when those agencies are not doing, and you are bringing more, you are compounding problem.
Are you saying that legally NAFDAC does not have a responsibility to regulate or exported goods that have been exported? I'm
not saying that. What I'm saying is NAFDAC should go to the base where they package those food, the factories, the warehouses, and inspect the facility of those exporters. But what NAFDAC is proposing is revenue generation. They are not, because they lack capabilities. NAFDAC only have one laboratory all over Nigeria in Lagos. Now, tell me, how would one laboratory that is situated in Lagos will regulate millions of export transactions in Nigeria? I mean, they lack the capability, infrastructure, and human resources to really handle export efficiently. So if NAFDAC is coming to charge money, they've already stated in the regulation, they will charge money, and they even say they will seal up factories. So we've written to NAFDAC, we want to collaborate with them. Let us sit down and look at this thing. We're supposed to be promoting trade. Now we are crying. Look at the exchange rate, because the foreign exchange generation, especially by non-S, has dropped drastically because of all this multi-agency, multi-taxation, making Nigeria uncompetitive in international market. We need to look inward. If you want to regulate, go to the factory.
But they also have that responsibility. Are you saying that they don't go to the
factories? They don't do it. Now they want to wait at the port and be collecting money.
Because part of that regulation of NAFDAC that we're talking about also talks about the fact that they also have to make their checks at the various factories. Okay, I saw part of that regulation talking about that they have to go to inspect. For instance, Regulation 7 says the agency shall A, inspect facilities for products to be exported where applicable, and B, conduct pre-shipment examination of consignment intended for exports.
What kind of pre-shipment inspection? When we already have government federal agency professionally saddled with that responsibility. That's duplication of function.
Which responsibility? Which agency of government?
We have Neroli, who were appointed by pre-shipment inspection agents, who were equipped to do that. They go to factories, they take samples of export. So why is NAFDAC? Why duplication of function? I mean, these are against trade facilitation.
Okay, and I also believe that.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
If you send sample to NAFDAC lab, at least it will spend like nothing less than 1 to 2 months. Now, are you telling me if I have an order, mind you, international export trade is guided by international law. If I give you a contract to ship goods, for example, in July, and NAFDAC is asking me to bring the sample of that goods that's supposed to get out of Nigeria in July for sampling before it can allow the goods to leave, then it spends another 1 to 2 months because they lack the infrastructure. Now, tell me, the image of Nigeria is being battered. That contract I will default in timing, and there is heavy penalties.
But there is also the responsibility of the farmers themselves, isn't there? Because if there will be no need, for instance, in my opinion, for NAFDAC to come up with this kind of regulation, if we've never had a situation where Nigeria has been embarrassed by the quality of products that are sent abroad and repatriated because of the poor quality.
We are still saying the same thing.
I'm asking, isn't there a responsibility of the producers, of the exporters themselves, to ensure these things, as opposed to any government agency at all coming to do it?
There is existing export guidelines. The existing export guidelines specify the process of your goods getting out of the country. That's what I'm telling you.
I get that.
Now,
but the problem is, do we keep
the NAFDAC you are talking about?
Just a second. Yeah. Do all exporters keep to these guidelines?
Of course, they keep to.
If they do,
if you don't keep to, there's penalty.
Exactly. If they do keep to those penalties, to those guidelines,
yes.
And would there be a situation where Nigerian exports are rejected?
Which of the, we need to, you see, there are various types of exportable products. That's what I want us to clarify. Those that are exporting gari, yam, they are the people having that issue.
Okay.
Let's clarify. Because it's good for us to differentiate what kind of thing we are dealing with. Otherwise, we won't get any result.
So industrial goods are not affected?
They are not affected.
Okay.
Because there are international guidelines, contract, everything. Each factory is equipped with ISO certified lab. And we have existing agency that conduct inspection, sampling, everything. Industrial goods are not affected.
Okay.
It's all this food, all this stable food or whatever. So we need to define that so that we don't create problem.
Yeah, what's your appeal now to NAFDAC or to any other agency that needs to intervene in this matter? Nigeria, as it is, we are one of the worst in terms of competitiveness and cost. We are lacking behind
Ghana, Ivory Coast, South Africa, because of these multiple agency delays, port problem.
So for you, it's about patriotism.
It's patriotism.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Let's just hope that, within the shortest possible time.
Well, we've written to NAFDAC. We've written to everybody. We've written for a meeting. They've not replied us.
We
need to sit down.
to get to NAFDAC to ensure that at least, involve them in this kind of conversation that we're having here. We hope we'll get a response soon. Otumba Felix Oladunjoye, Council Member, Nigerian Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, NACCIMA, and also Chairman of Cocoa Processors Association of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Right. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Now, we return in a few seconds with another conversation. Do stay with us.